So Michael Vick been making the rounds, and he was talking about racism in the NFL and the politics as being a black quarterback and everything that he went through, and talking about how, uh, the economics. He brought up, talking about Warren Moon, Doug Williams, um, Marlon Briscoe, everything, the history. And I think it's important that people take a heed to what Michael Vick is saying, because what you're seeing with Patrick Mahomes and you see with Lamar Jackson wasn't always the norm. Black quarterbacks in the position of leading things wasn't their norm. I tell a story all the time. I was living in Houston, Texas, 40 years ago, and when Warren Moon came over, he had lost 5 or 6 of his years because they weren't given opportunities. They didn't think black quarterbacks had the mindset to lead. They didn't think black players had the mindset to be quarterbacks. They thought tailbacks, receivers, safeties, corners. They didn't want to be in. They didn't want to be in a quarterback. That's something that need to be told. This is the last 15 years has been more normalized, if you will, with seeing things with the eye. Once we got past with Doug Williams' historic performance, which got downplayed because he got ran out by Washington. You know, I am glad to see Jaden, the Washington quarterback now for the Commanders, great, but it wasn't always the case. I remember Randall Cunningham till you got to Aaron McNair, Steve McNair, and Cordell Stewart, and then you got Donovan McNabb. You had Tony Banks. You had a few cats here and there. Vince Evans played a long time. Then you fast forward up to Russell Wilson, Robert Griffin III, Colin Kaepernick, who I'm going to say loud and clear. He did go to a Super Bowl, just like Russell did. That was progressive for that time. 10 years ago, that was pretty progressive when you think about it. Cam Newton, MVP, lost Super Bowl, went to Super Bowl. Progressive. Before the Mahomes takeover and Lamar Jackson's multiple MVPs. Then you saw Deshaun Watson, and then Jalen Hurts, runner-up Super Bowl participant. My point is, this is still what you're seeing now, the Jordan Loves and the Richardsons with the Colts, etc. Now, Alec Moore is not been the norm in a lot of these places and spaces. And Dak Prescott getting paid and all that was not the norm. So, Michael Vick is telling the facts about it. And I'm glad to hear him talking about it, because it needs to be said of it is a job. As much as we get entertained and we got teams we root for, and some people play fantasy football and some people get all involved with it, it is a job. And there is a criteria. And there are people who don't look at black quarterbacks as equals to the white counterparts. They don't see that they belong in said position to run the situation, the demands of it. They say, oh no, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, no. Because Bill Polian, who was very helpful for the Bills run in the 90s and became the Colts GM when Peyton Manning, etc., was there, spent a lot of time the last few years trying to say Lamar Jackson should be a running back or something. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time league MVP. Make it make some sense. This mindset. But you see what's going on now. Can't hit, but you can't catch. And opportunities are more than they ever been. But it's good to see Michael Vick speaking out on the history of it and the politics and the racism in the NFL, what they've done. Because for all the logos they put out there and all the talk that they try to throw, which is cheap, actions speak louder than words. And so what should be something where you have the best person for the job is not always the case. It's not always the case. Because I can go back to Joe Gilliam and Terry Bradshaw. And Joe Gilliam and Terry Bradshaw, even with his 4 rings and all the notoriety he gets, he couldn't carry Joe Gilliam's mustache at quarterback. Just keeping it 100. But opportunity and everything, it's all about opportunity and having the chance to on display. I still go back 40 years ago. I remember Turner Gill, who was in Nebraska. That cat could swing that ball. Didn't get the opportunity. Charlie Ward, who Michael Vick was speaking of. They didn't in the NFL, didn't quarterback. See, there's opportunities which wasn't that long ago. See, if you don't address and talk about it, it gets swept underneath. And then there's a whole generation of people who think that this has always been the norm when it isn't. Because as a matter of fact, let's just say, for instance, When Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes played in the Super Bowl just a year and a half ago, that's the first time two African American quarterbacks had ever squared off against each other. You know, so it says that that's what we are. We're not that far removed. And Michael Vick would know well intended what he had to deal with because he um, came to Atlanta and that was a big thing 20 years ago. And he's one of the most athletic football players I've ever seen, regardless of position. So I think it's important. He's on Sway in different forms. He was on ABC talking about what went down. So give Michael Vick a listen because he's speaking facts. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay true, stay real, stay woke, stay cool and calm. I'm out. Peace.